Welcome to the Dirty Economics discussion on Nifty and Bank Nifty today, and we'll try to look at the technical charts for both Nifty and Bank Nifty. Before we start, let me introduce our analyst for today. His name is Omkar. He has a very good background in forex markets, and he has been an analyst in the derivatives markets for quite some time right now. So before we start the discussion, let me discuss the two key headlines for today, which impacted the way the Nifty moved today. The one was when India actually amended its tax treaty with Mauritius so that the benefits of investing via the country will eventually be eliminated. The other was the Supreme Court's decision on scrapping the TRICE penalty plan, wherein telecom firms cannot be fined for call drops right now. So, Omkar,
Yeah. Hi, Kaushal. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
So, talking about the fundamentals today, we saw two major headlines which actually impacted the Nifty. If you saw in the early morning, we saw the SGX Nifty, which was actually down for more than 1%, and in the market actually when the trade started for the day, we saw Nifty heading down, and later on the day when the telecom decision came out, we saw Nifty tracking Nifty actually jumping up 100 points to actually overcome those losses, and
Right.
it's more or less as we can see in your chart, it's more or less near that key trend line right now. So
Right.
what is your view? Where do you think we are headed next?
Uh, the drop that you are talking about, it ran into the falling trend line support, the larger falling trend line support that we can see here from April 2015 high,
Oh, that's
and the subsequent recovery ran into resistance at the inverse head and shoulder neckline.
right.
We have had an inverse head and shoulder neckline at the bottom of the trend, which according to textbook rules is a bullish signal, and
All
we actually did have a breakout. But I have observed in last couple of months, not only in equities but also in currency pairs, inverse head and shoulders these days are not working as they used to do,
all right.
and the gains were obviously capped again at the neckline level. There's a black dark line that we can see. If
All
I
right.
zoom in on the chart, it is quite clear that the bottom, the losses were capped at the falling trend line represented by this blue line,
All
and
right.
the gains were capped by the inverse head and shoulder neckline resistance.
So from the past few days, we can see that the Nifty has been capped by that trend line actually. So I don't think that we have a strong bullish momentum in spite of having that crossover of the MA.
Yeah, I'm not actually a big fan of crossover, as I have often said that these are laggard indicators of sorts, and the crossover that we have seen over here is between 50 SMA and 100 SMA. And the most important crossover, or should I say the golden crossover that a lot of analysts talk about, is the crossover between 50 SMA and 200 SMA, which is still quite far away.
All
Uh,
right.
and as of now, I guess I don't I won't say that on Nifty chart it's not that bears are in control, but surely bulls have been demoralized as of now. And
What
from the
bulls are we actually waiting for?
I guess bulls are probably waiting for a break above 7991. That is April 27 high.
All right.
If we go above that, we might extend the rally to 8200 levels or so in the next few days. But till then, I guess we are going to see a choppy sideways kind of action. And if we switch on to Bank Nifty chart, which we will do later,
Okay.
then the odds of a downside move appear high.
Okay.
On the Nifty chart, I see only two gap up openings as of now.
Okay.
One between 1st March and 2nd March,
Okay.
and the second between 4th, 12th April and 13th April.
All right.
And I personally usually want to see a third gap opening, because that would be a sign that bulls have or let's say dumb money has just entered into markets, and that is usually a sign of reversal.
Okay, so maybe we can see it in the next couple of days or gap up higher, and that is when
Right,
actually.
right.
So, but if we climb above 7 and 9 1, do you think the bearish argument will be invalidated?
Yes, if we have a strong closing about 7991, or let's say 8000 for that matter, psychological figure. Yeah, even if we consider this rising trend line, at the moment it comes around 8000 level.
All right.
So if we have a bullish break, bullish daily closing above 8000, that would add credence to the bullish momentum. But as I said again, if the move to 8000 involves a strong gap of opening, I would actually would look at it, as a sign of exhaustion.
So you'll maintain caution. So you'll probably watch another daily candlestick develop before you
Yes,
actually zoom in on your bullish or a bearish strategy.
right, right.
Okay, that sounds perfect. So let's move on to the bank Nifty. Because I feel that you have a very strong argument.
Bank Nifty, if you look at the chart, the price chart, it's quite simple. We have a larger falling trend line, and it has been, breached. It was breached in late April. Then we had it turned out to be a sort of fake breakout, but the prices have moved back again. So it gives hopes for a further bullish action. But I'll come back to this gap of opening strategy on Bank Nifty chart. I see first gap
Okay,
again between first March and second March.
all right.
Then I have a second gap opening again April 12 and April 13,
Okay,
and here we have the third gap opening as well, April 20th to April 21st.
okay,
So in my view, this is a sign that now the dumb money has entered into markets, and it's actually a sign of reversal for me. And it might be a matter of coincidence, but we also have a breach of rising trend line.
okay,
The gains seen today again ran into resistance of the rising trend line.
all right.
So once I see a break below, let's say 16500 or so, which
Okay,
is a falling trend line support right now,
okay,
for me that would be a sell signal in Bank Nifty. And given that banking stocks have a higher weightage in Nifty, I guess that also adds to my cautious view on Nifty.
okay. So breaking below 16,500 would actually pave way for a decline.
Decline, yes. I think in that case we are heading back to around 15440 levels or so.
Okay, so not below 1640,
Sorry.
not below the mentioned level.
Below 16500, we are going down to 15440 levels.
Okay, so there's nothing below 15,440.
Below 15440, you have another support over here. Comes around 14754 levels, 755 levels.
Okay,
And such a move would also push the daily RSI below 50. And that will bring in more technical selling in Bank Nifty again.
that's right. But I'm actually a bit cautious. I see the RSI above 50. I will never enter into a bearish trade until and unless I see the break below the 50 level. In the,
Yeah, yeah. If you even look at RSI, it's interesting. Many people only plot formations on price chart, but I also plot formations on RSI many times.
okay.
If you look, it's a sort of head and shoulder kind of a thing over here. Oh boy, I deleted it.
This is how I actually, when I track the individual stocks, I always look at the RSI. And like you, I always, no, I'm actually, the first trend line I'll draw is not on the chart. I'll actually draw it on the RSI. Because I
Yeah,
see that is a very good indicator and it actually behaves, it actually uh, respects
something
the
wrong
trend
with
line.
my chart. Sorry.
It actually respects the trend line, the lines
Right.
on the RSI.
Yes, absolutely. So if you look at the RSI over, we have a sort of a head and shoulder formation. This is shoulders, head, and you have another shoulder developing now.
Okay,
So that again, adds credence to the bearish view on Bank Nifty.
okay. Yeah, that's nice. This is actually something new. I've never spotted a head HNS or something on a RSI.
RSI.
Yeah.
I often try to first spot patterns on price chart, but then if I can see something on RSI, it only adds credence to the main view.
That's great. This is actually something new which I learned today, and hopefully our viewers will enjoy it.
Yeah,
Can we look at some 15 maybe 4 hourly chart for the bank Nifty?
yeah, sure. So on 4 hourly chart, if it goes to around 17,000, let's say tomorrow, we can actually have a double top formation of sorts, with a
Okay.
neckline around 16,168 levels.
So again, it will be at bearish view.
Yeah. But if it does close above 17,000, rally could be extended. But again, looking at the daily chart, as I said, the gap opening theory tells me that maybe the momentum has ran out of steam now.
If you look at the trend line, we can actually see that the momentum is actually losing steam
Yeah.
and the RSI is stooping lower.
Right.
I actually look at the MACDs, but MACDs are saying another story. But I'm actually not a bull on the Nifty or the bank Nifty as such. I'm actually waiting for a good point to actually short the index, both of them.
Yeah. I guess Bank Nifty is indicating a bearish move ahead.
Bank Nifty is a clearer indicator for the Nifty right now. So
Yeah.
I'll probably have a look at the 15-minute charts tomorrow in the morning, and I'll wait for a couple of candlesticks before I decide my trade. I'll probably be going on the lower side.
Yeah. Even on the Bank Nifty chart, you can plot a inverse head and shoulder breakout.
All right.
So yeah, again, if it fails to sustain
Yeah. We are,
above the same, we have a sell signal again.
what is the target for the inverse HNS?
Inverse HNS target, inverse HNS breakout has already failed. Actually, we had a breakout on April 21st.
All right.
It went up to 17,000 and dropped. So I don't think the inverse head and shoulder target will now work because it has already failed. So it's history now.
Okay. So
But the trend line resistance would work.
all right. So
The,
if you want to go bullish, if some of our viewers want to go bullish, we'll actually wait for a break above
so-
17,000
Absolutely, yes.
and a breakout. So maybe we'll give it a day or two for the candlesticks to form before we actually
If,
take out our.
no, if it does break above 17,000 on a closing basis, I wouldn't mind entering into a buy trade with small stops.
Okay.
Because if we wait for 2 or 3 days, maybe we will have a 1,000 point move.
All right.
You never know.
So now, Omkar, when I got up in the morning, I switched on one of the news channels and I saw a lot of chatter about the yen and some correlation between the Nifty. I'm not
Okay.
so sure if we have something very strong over here, but do you think there's something on USD dollar yen which is somewhat correlating with the Nifty?
Actually, there is no such direct correlation. The
Okay.
only thing is that in past videos we had discussed that most of the rally in the major equity markets across globe since November 2012 or so was yen funded,
Yeah, true.
and now that in last couple of months, especially since Jan 29th, yen has been on a winning streak. People fear that it may end up pulling down all the risk assets. It is simply people fear that there would be a exact reverse reaction in the equities.
Okay.
And now that again yen has started weakening, risk assets are happy. But I guess the direct correlation between yen and Nifty is there is no such direct correlation.
Right.
It's just more of talk or noise rather than any substance.
All right. So maybe what you're trying to say is that Nifty, sorry, the Japanese yen has a sort of correlation with the global markets, and if the yen is actually if the yen
Yeah,
is getting stronger, we can see that the global markets will be hampered, and somewhat we are just having general analyst chatter on.
yeah, of course. And another thing is that when you have yen falling, you have a rally in Nikkei,
Okay,
and Japan being a regional benchmark over here,
that's
when traders see a rise in Nikkei, it's a good sign.
Okay, so maybe if Nikkei writes, if yen further strengthens tomorrow, we'll possibly see a rise in Nikkei, and if that happens, we'll see another blip higher in SGX Nifty, and maybe we are seeing another gap up opening in the Nifty.
Yeah, if dollar yen rises, from here, obviously it will pull up Nikkei,
Oh,
and it would help other regional indices as well.
okay.
The talk right now is that Japanese PM is is in talks with his European counterparts for they are deciding talking about implementing some fiscal strategy now,
All right.
because monetary policy instruments have failed.
That's right. It does fail. Apes, the arrows.
Yeah, so maybe that is also supporting dollar yen pair and thus adding to all the positive environment. But as I said, it's the correlation between yen and Nifty is it's all talk. Just
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, Omkar, sounds perfect. Thank you so much for your valuable insights today.
yeah,
Nifty and the
that
bank.
was great.
Let's catch up tomorrow, set up our trades, and let's see what happens.
Yeah,
Maybe we can discuss the day after again.
yeah,
So
of
short.
course. Maybe we can discuss on Friday or weekend.
Yeah, we can be perfect. Let's try it something on Saturday or Sunday.
Okay, okay,
Okay, Omkar.
okay.
Had a nice chat. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thanks. Bye.